Hey, day drinkers. It's good to see you. This is the last of our holiday spectacular. I don't know if you've noticed that it's been a holiday spectacular, but I've noticed. And we're topping it off. It's a good one. Our drink is great. Our holiday story is amazing this week. So I'm glad you're here. Please, stick around. I do want to let you know I'm taking a break, and when the new year starts, I'm going to move the 4 o'clock day drinking part of it to 8 o'clock. So the day drinking will be a lie, but I think people are around a little bit more, and 4 o'clock is hard to, take time out of your day to do. And so we're going to try 8 o'clock, but the podcast and day drinking at 8 o'clock will be going strong. And I've got a really exciting list of people. I can't wait to announce it in the new year. So stick around and stay tuned. Today's guest and her drink, it's going to change your life. Michelle Majors is here, and her book, the novel that we're going to be talking about, we're actually going to be talking about, this one's got a lot of stuff going on. Like, there's a lot. She doesn't just have one Christmas novel out. She's got a lot of them out right now, or two at least. But the one we're going to be talking about specifically is the Merriest Magnolia, which is a great name. And here's the back cover copy. Perfect for fans of Debbie Macomber, says Publishers Weekly. And when Publishers Weekly says that, you believe them. Home for the holidays has always meant cozy small town traditions, but this year all that may change. Carrie Reed has always been known as her hometown good girl, yet she still loves Magnolia, North Carolina. After all, this is where her newly discovered sisters, Avery and Meredith, live. But Christmas is on its way, and with it, her first love. Dylan Scott is back in town and planning on changing everything she's ever loved about Magnolia with his real estate development project, but not without a fight. Returning to Magnolia was never in Dylan's plans. It holds too many reminders that he would never be good enough, and memories of the girl he left behind. But when a tragedy leaves him guardian of a grieving teenager, Dylan returns, ready to remake the town into something only money can buy. Small town traditions be damned. But with Carrie determined to stop him, he finds himself wondering if redeeming his teenage reputation is worth losing out on a second chance at love. See? Let's bring in Michelle Major here.
Hey,
Michelle, thank you for stopping by. It's Christmas season, and I know everybody's kind of frantic and busy, but I mean, when you've got a pitcher of cranberry margaritas.
Cheers, everybody. Happy December. We are in the home stretch of 2020. That's great.
Yeah, so
and thank you for reading the back cover copy, because I know what the story's about, and I've read it at some point, but then when you read it, I was like, oh my gosh, that sounds like just a real book that I
Who wrote that? Well, my mom was like, Molly, nobody knows what book you're talking about. Like, you know what book you're talking about, but you got to read the back cover copy. And she's right. She's right. I want to remind everybody, if you comment, and I see so many comments. Wow, this is amazing. If you comment and ask a question, I will hopefully look and see. Laurelyn Major.
Gosh,
says, just finished the Merriest Magnolia. It was so good. Love the characters, the twists, and the relatability.
I'm going to admit to you, that's my baby sister. So I love her.
We got a plant. That's perfect. Well, welcome. I'm so glad. So,
sorry, and you can hear I have cats running around. So we can talk about that at some point too. Stop.
They're not going to. You foster cats.
I do. I do foster. We foster kittens for a local shelter in Colorado, and I have two right now, Buddy and Jovi, because we were told they were a boy and a girl, and then when we took them in to get fixed, Buddy is actually a girl as well. So two sisters, but they are going to be adopted tomorrow. So I will tell you, I'm a little sad
because tomorrow there'll be somebody's holiday present.
So they are a cute pair of kittens. So they will make somebody really happy this
holiday. Fingers crossed. So our drink today are cranberry margaritas. The recipe we shared is for a pitcher, and instead of taking Carl Carson's excellent mathematics skills, we just made a pitcher. And they are delicious. So how is your quarantine going? Like, we're up to a year. We're coming up on a year. Are you able to get work done, or?
I It's up and down. I think for a lot of people, what am I saying? For everybody, it's like the Corona coaster, right? So, but I feel really lucky. We are doing okay. My husband works out of the hospitals, and so he's taking a lot of precautions, which is good. My two high schoolers are home. And I feel really lucky, Molly, because we bought this house like 5 years ago. It's total fixer-upper, money pit. I mean, it is like there are a lot of issues with this house. However, it has a bonus room that is not connected to the house that I have taken over as my office. And it's remarkable when the kids have to walk 10 feet down the patio to get to me, how they don't. So
they really won't. Too far. I had a dream last night that I had a secret 1-bedroom apartment. I woke up like,
what's this?
What would that even be like? So, wow.
I can tell you.
Congrats to past you for making that decision to get the money pit with the extra room.
Yeah.
So let's talk about the Merriest Magnolia. This is book 2, but it's a standalone. Like for people who are like, oh, I don't want to, this is an absolute standalone. However, and the second book deals with it, the ramifications of this premise. The premise that is clearly set up in book 1 is really good. Tell us.
So the premise in book 1, the Magnolia Sisters series premise is 3 women who did not know they were related in the small town. Well, 2 of them live in the small town initially of Magnolia, North Carolina. They share a father who is sort of this rogue artist and obviously a little bit of a scoundrel. And when he dies, he brings them together through an inheritance, but they don't inherit what they expect to. Like the woman who is renting land from him to run her animal shelter, she inherits the art gallery, so he twists it up, and then the town is kind of in shambles. So they, initially they come together to work on things so that they can sell and
get out
some of his debts and get out of things. But then,
the power of sisterhood.
So,
well, it is a really charming premise, and the shadow of the father looms really large. Like he's this like artist, but like and I don't see him on the page in the second. You don't see him on the page, but you can absolutely picture this guy.
I could really feel him when I was writing, and actually, the premise came from my mom's best friend, or one of her really good friends, discovered through like a 23andMe or DNA test that she had a family she absolutely knew nothing about. And I think that's something that, we hear about more these, it sort of sent me down this kind of fascinating rabbit hole of what could and would happen if that came to be.
One of the things that I really like about this story, and it's a few episodes ago, I had Stacey Agdern on, who wrote Mistletoes and Magnolias and Menorahs. Sorry. Oh, margaritas. And the book, your book and her book share a premise, which is kind of about how women live in their communities. And I've been thinking about that so much, about how, and it's not just in novels, right? Like, I mean, we're all living in our houses right now. And I know that, on the list of the top 5 things that I'm missing, my community of friends is like super high on the list. And I was like, did you think, like, because there's a lot of places to go with a holiday story. Like, there are a lot of places to go, but you like went head first for the community aspect. Why did you do that? And what like sort of inspired that? The idea that you could obviously spin a bunch of books off of. So what led you that direction?
I do think they talk about most authors having an overarching theme of their books. And I grew up in the Midwest. I moved to Colorado on my own right after college, lived in my car, just was determined to live near the mountains and create this life for myself. And for several years, it was really lonely because it is difficult to create a community.
Outside of college, yeah.
Naturally, as an adult, in the way it does, when you have kids, or if you are a kid. So I think that influences that sort of finding a home within your community really influences a lot of my writing, because it's a very personal theme to me.
Yeah. I mean, I was thinking about it with like men's fiction is always like this sort of lone wolf saves the day, or the lone wolf sort of acquires a team and then they save the day. And women's, like, I mean, obviously I'm generalizing 100%, but women want more women. Which I kind of like. So this is not your only Christmas novel. You have a Silhouette special edition.
Yes, I have a special edition Christmas book out, which is my Welcome to Starlight series. And it's his last chance Christmas family set in Starlight, Washington. So obviously I really like writing Christmas books.
Do you? Like, I have 2 out right now too. And in July, it seemed like, what a fun idea. So tell me what you like what you think the requirements are for a really good Christmas book or movie. Or
I think, to me, the requirements are, I think always the magic. I think there's a lot of holiday magic, and, I've talked to friends about, it's such a time of heightened emotions, good or bad. So I think as authors, we can really mine that, whether you had a fantastic memories of the holidays or not so much. There's so many, there's really great activities, especially in a small town, that are happening at, during the
holidays, yeah.
season. But I think I really, love those special details. Like the traditions that are the favorite in my family, they're not always the big splashy, we got dressed up and went to the Nutcracker. They're kind of the quiet moments. So I think there's a lot of emotions to be explored in that.
Yeah, there really is the dichotomy, and you've got it in Merriest Magnolia, where it's like, in my family, there's so much tradition. Like, it's the kind of family that, like, you can't change. Mom's got to wear the same Mickey Mouse Christmas sweater with the same necklace, or is it even Christmas if she's not wearing that? And my husband does not. Like, it just, not everything is loaded to that. I mean, there's plenty of tradition and there's plenty of things that's special. So it's, and in your book, your heroine is like, she is going to lead this town into Christmas glory, and your hero is completely bah humbug. But I think that's,
I think that, and I will say, of the 3 sisters, now the 3rd book that comes out in March, she owns an animal rescue. And so I've always had a lot of animals running around my house. So I relate to that. But I think Carrie was the heroine that I related to the most, because, I'm the oldest. I very much felt like that sort of stereotype of the dutiful daughter and doing what was expected of me. And she spent years doing that with her father, who was not very good to her. And so, yeah, I think she feels like this Christmas is like, this is her chance to
make her break. And you give her the special, like, added pain of, she stayed with her dad. She was loyal to her father, who didn't appreciate her, but the mom left. Yes. And the mom didn't throw a rope even behind her. Like, it was just like, and I'm out. Like, it's a real tragic thing. And those scenes between the mom, or between Carrie and her mom, are exceedingly poignant. They're very tough.
Thank you. In a good way. Tough in
a good way. All of it's in a good way. I like a tough book. I do. So for those of you who may not know, the Magnolia series is what in publishing is called single title. So it's longer. And then your other Christmas novel and the Starlight series, and you have a couple of other series, are in the Silhouette special moments. Am I getting that right?
Harlequin special edition now. It's Silhouette, and then has transitioned to Harlequin.
And those are called series or category. I'm giving you that because I come out of that same world. So I'm going to start throwing these words around and you're going to be like, what? But so tell me what's the difference between setting up a series for you in single title and the difference between setting up a series in the Harlequin special editions?
I don't know how it is for you. To me, because I know you did come from that world. To me, it's sort of the focus of that lens. So the special edition books are quite a bit, I mean, not halfway shorter, but quite a bit shorter than the single title. So to me, it feels like the lens is really focused on the couple. There is very little, and that's hard to say because I do think special edition, one of the traits of that line is there's a lot of community feeling in that. But again, everything is from the lens of that couple, whereas the single title, I do love having, the word count and the ability to explore more of the sister's relationship and the mom's relationship and the community and just kind of expand the world. And
one of the really great subplots in the Merriest Magnolia is your hero has become the guardian of a delightful, just a delightful teenager.
I have teenagers. You know where I got my inspiration.
And I felt like that, and I was like, oh, this is the joys of single title is that every character gets to have an extra thing.
Yeah.
That reveals more about them, that helps them grow together, all of those things. What made you what was the impetus for the teenage boy to show up so perfectly?
Oh my gosh, that's a great question. So I feel like my superpower in writing and continuing to write and keep things fresh is I have very little memory of what came before. So as far as details, but I mean, I think like you were saying, to show a different side of the hero, because he does come in very bah humbug and I mean, he has a mountain-sized chip on his shoulders. And so, I wanted to
despite being the bad guy too. Like he was kind of the jerk and he kind of shows up like, I mean, it's all good. It's all delicious.
Starts out at the bad guy and he actually shows up at the end of the first book. So I kind of set the stage there that he is going to be in some ways a bad guy. And I wanted to soften him, but I didn't feel like, handing him a baby necessarily or something along those lines. Like that wasn't going to work for, that was just too far out of his comfort zone. That would never happen. But, a surly teen, he was one, so he can deal with that. So I will, a little behind the scenes, I like when I was plotting this book, The Merriest Magnolia, it was my daughter, who is 15, was really into that show Riverdale. And so I was watching it with her. And it was at the time when Luke Perry passed away.
Mm-hmm.
So, and I was a big 90210 fan back in the day. So Dylan did not actually start out with the name Dylan, but, it just sort of hit me that like somebody from, around my age and he was such a perfect sort of complement to the Dylan McKay character in 90210. So
yeah, that's a good homage. That's a good one. I read somewhere when he died, it hit me like, we're at an age, right, where our childhood heroes are all, but he really hit me. It really hit me. And it was a part, it was like my high school girlfriends and I would get together every week we would have these 90210 watching parties. Like it was a whole thing.
It's strange and good. And I appreciate the people who are making series now who are sort of taking, Molly Ringwald and Luke Perry and making them, they're the parents in the really popular teen YA, TV series, which, I think is like for me such a cute Easter egg.
And none of it exists without, 16 channels and 90210. So.
We wouldn't be here, so they wouldn't be here.
Although my son has gotten very into the Breakfast Club lately, so I mean, it's one of the few I feel that stays fairly evergreen. The rest of them are,
Well, surprisingly, I think a lot of John Hughes, we have had them watch Some Kind of Wonderful and, just a lot of The Breakfast Club. I don't think they've watched 16 Candles because that one to me feels a little.
it doesn't, no, there's a lot of pausing and going, okay, you get why this is bad.
You don't do this anymore. So, but yeah, some of them, and The Breakfast Club for sure.
There's the Saturday Night Live character, the movie reviewer, the teenage movie reviewer. I don't know if you watch Saturday Night Live, who like watches old movies and just goes, "You can't do that anymore."
That's bad.
That was our childhood.
Right.
So you had asked, I'm sorry, Margarita, you had asked me what I had asked you the plotting differences between a single title and a category. And one of the things, and having looked at your books too, is I also feel like one of the real differences is in single title, a lot of times it's about a group of sisters or it's about a group of women. And in category romance, it's about a group of brothers. Like what the hook in category, and I think maybe because it is so short and you've got to get right to that fantasy punch and right to that romantic punch, that the heroes sort of take that hook position. What do you think about that?
Yeah, no, I think that is really true. And I think single title romance, I mean, at least for me, it kind of straddles the line of romance and with a little bit of women's fiction thrown in, because it really is about, they both have a journey to transformation, but it's about the woman to me typically. So yeah.
One of the other things I wanted to ask you is, because one of the lovely things in romance is the redemption arc of a bad guy hero who gets to be a hero in the next book. But the importance of that grovel scene, like when a guy's been a jerk for a book and a bit, how do you approach the grovel scene? I'm never comfortable around him. I always feel like they go on too long, and then all my readers are like, more grovel.
More grovel.
It's like endless chapters of groveling. And I think the grovel is part of the fantasy that I'm not nailing down particularly. How are you approaching it?
I think, to me, when I start a book, and by the time I get to the finish, am I echoing? I feel like there's an echo now.
You're not on my.
Okay, great. It's so much about the emotion that, I don't know, maybe again, it's something in me where I'd love somebody to grovel to me over and over. So I feel like that part does, it does, I think it comes naturally to me. The part that I struggle with, which I think readers really enjoy, is an epilogue. Because to me, when I've gotten to that point as a writer, I'm moving on to the next people. And once I've given them their happily ever after at the end, in my mind, by the time I finish a book and edit it and turn it into my editor, I'm so ready. Like I've sat with the next book a little bit, and I'm so jazzed to dive into that. So then, putting that sort of cherry on the top is
right
for me. But
right.
Do you?
Yeah, I just keep I keep trying to come up with ways to not have to do it. Maybe I had this critique partner once tell me, she was like, the moment when the hero realizes he's made a terrible mistake and he's got to go back and grovel. And I tried to she's like, Molly, he can't just go for a walk. I was like, no, that's fair. Those are really tricky moments to.
You don't want it to be overdone, and you still, I would say there's probably not a lot of men out there who excel at groveling in real life. So,
this is the fantasy part of it.
Fantasy, but believable too. So,
so how are you managing, the writing schedule of the single titles, which are 80 to 100,000 words, and the shorter categories, which it's been a while. Is it 50 to 60?
Right now it's 60. Special edition is 60. You go 55 to 60.
I mean, that's a lot of words. You're writing quite a bit right now.
I'm writing quite a bit. So, you know, which again, maybe because I started writing when my kids were babies. So I got really used to getting up early in the morning, which my husband still does for work. So I just get up at 5:15 or whenever he gets up. I have written many books in swimming, you know, at the side of swimming pools or lacrosse tournaments, and I feel like that's one of the blessings of this career is, you know, I can work and I can manage my hours as long as I can still do it.
Books out.
I'm really deadline oriented, and I do the, you know, I write it all, I like throw it all up and then go back and do a deep dive edit of it. So I use a software called Scrivener, and so really like you get your word count for the day, and then it gets green as it, you know, goes from like yucky red to green as it goes across there. So I love that.
It's the small tricks, right? Over quarantine, if I manage to get my word count and have a workout and walk the dog, I got a sticker.
That's whatever.
That is what it is. But it's where we're at. So what's next for you? What the Magnolia series? There's 3 sisters, but I just saw there's a 4th book coming. So you're clearly branching out, or is there a secret sister?
There is not a secret sister, although that would have been a fantastic idea. So maybe. So the fun thing, this has been new to me, but with each Magnolia Sisters book, there has also been a companion novella that goes with it that's 10,000 words. And I've never written a complete story or arc in 10,000 words. And it's like a palate cleanser for me, because I just dive in, and it is, you know, it's so fast, but
so
really
short and sweet. One misunderstanding. One kiss.
Yeah. So, so the Magnolia Sisters, because there are only 3 sisters, we are transitioning but I really have enjoyed, and readers seem to be responding to the world of Magnolia. And, you know, I do love the community aspect of it. So there are going to be 3 more books set in Magnolia. And this is going to be, we're transitioning to the Carolina Girls series. And so
it's my son yelling right outside the door.
It's all good. I mean, I still have, I can see peripheral vision. So
it's changing to the Carolina Girls.
Mm-hmm.
Good. Oh, that's a great that's great. Like broadening out. That's awesome.
Yeah. So I hope that readers will enjoy it, because it's the world they know, and the sisters are still secondary characters in all of these books that, you know, we get to keep up with them, but it branches out in a way that I'm really enjoying it. So because it was when I had the sisters, you know, and then you know how secondary characters pop up and are like screaming in the background, me, write my story. So now I'm going to get to for several of them. So
I saw a meme on Facebook. It was like this guy standing there where he's like, and the words over his head was like, the book I'm supposed to be writing. And then he gets knocked over by this like brash, exciting woman who's like, the idea I want. Yeah, that's sort of where I'm at.
Bloody new idea. I think that's what I think of it as.
Yeah.
So.
I'm just going to highlight this real quick because my mom showed up, or my mom commented. I think my mom watches quite a bit. Gail Fader, you don't have any examples of groveling to fall back on. Groveling didn't happen here. Has Dad ever thought he was wrong? It's true. It's true. It's very true. My dad never groveled, and my mom never swore. So.
Wow. Oh my gosh. Your mom is my hero. I do not really swear in my books, but in real life, I have a horrible potty mouth that I have tried for years to curb, and I can't do it. So, for your mom.
My mom, she dropped a pan once and she said, shit. and like it was like the world stopped. And now I have kids, and my husband, his family, everybody swore. I mean, like it was. And so anyway, I was trying to like curb everybody's language, and my husband's like, Molly, it's just words. They're just words. It's like, all right, we'll go with that. Well, thanks, Mom, for coming by. Michelle, thank you for coming by. I really do appreciate it. And I hope you have a great holiday. What are you guys going to be doing to try to make things as special as you can at your house?
Well, I made my husband get up on the roof to put up lights, which we haven't done for a couple of years. I think we're pretty lucky because we live in Colorado, so we have a lot of space. So we can, it's just the four of us here, but we can hike and we can do other things. And what's lovely is my sister, who was on here earlier, has little kids. She has a 5 and a 3-year-old. So it's really, really fun to, sort of
near you. Like, are you guys able to?
We're like 10 minutes away.
Oh, good. That's great.
Sort of a cohort. So we'll all hang out and then Zoom chat with the rest of the family. So how about you? Any fun?
Well, at our family, we go a year to my parents' house. So they live in Northern Illinois, and my husband and family and I are in Toronto. So 1 year on, 1 year home. And this happened to be our year at home, which is so good, because every year at home, I'm like, oh, I'm so glad we get to be home. And then every year we go, I'm like, I'm so glad we get to go there. So if it was 2 years without seeing my parents at Christmas, it would not be a cheerful Christmas. So yeah, I think we're going to make the best of it. We've been in Canada, or in Toronto, we've been in a lockdown lately, and it will ease up. So there can be a bit more, maybe seeing some people, and but at home, Christmas Day, we're pretty excited. We are actually going to go to Montreal for a few days, which I figured it's a 5-hour drive, and it was the most away I could get. Like Montreal, it was going to be very foreign, and I was going to be excited. So that's our plans for the holidays. But I do thank you for being here and for your beautiful book. Everybody go out and grab the Merriest Magnolia. It is the second in the series, but I read it as a complete standalone, went back and bought the first one. There it is. Look at that. All the things they do to signify small towns.
It's cute.
It's so cute. It is so cute. So please go grab it. It is a great holiday escape. Everybody stay home, stay safe, wear a mask, read a book, and have a drink.
There you go. Perfect. Thank you.
Bye.